Hi, I'm Gunther Doran, Chief Growth Officer for Peak Performers. I'm joined today by Myles, Wallace, our Community Outreach Manager. If you're not familiar with Peak Performers, we're a nonprofit staffing agency that puts people to work with disabilities.
So we just hit stage 2 here in Austin, and I feel great about it. I'm really excited to get back out there in the world.
But it's funny, as I was writing an email to our staff this morning that we are at stage 2 and we can begin to unmask, I started to realize I'm going to get to see everybody's smile, frown, and indifferent every single day. And I think both of us have something that we had to put off a little bit. Myself, a honeymoon, and you had.
I canceled the wedding twice, so I'm looking forward to getting back to that. Despite the terribleness of COVID 19, we had a number of positive things that came out of it for the disability community.
Yeah, one of the things that we've learned from the pandemic is that we can be much more conscientious about each other's health.
I think that there is a lot of positives to wearing a mask or staying home if you're sick. That way you don't infect other people around you. For many of us, we may just bounce right back after the common cold, but did you know that it kills between 12,000 and 52,000 people every single year, just the flu alone? So if you're immunocompromised, having that little bug in you, that can be a big difference, and that could be either weeks of recovery or possibly even hospitalization and death.
The thing we've also seen is that working from home is just much more of a common practice.
Which, for a lot of us, that's a convenience factor. If you have kids or if you just have any kind of life outside of work, right, it's so much more convenient to roll right out of bed and right into your office chair. But you are a person with a significant disability, especially like a physical motor disability, such as requiring a wheelchair. That can be the difference between you working and not working, because you can create the perfect setup at home for you to be super efficient.
Absolutely, and do it in a very, very comfortable space, right? The opportunity to spend a little more time with your family, the time to get into that office and get comfortable and get working. It's an essential thing that I think that's come from the pandemic is it's just okay not to be okay.
I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's kind of this constant refrain of, I'm good, how are you? Everywhere you go in the office. And while that may not seem like a big deal to most of us, if you do struggle with anxiety or depression, that can be really, really just overwhelming because sometimes you are not okay. And I think that there's a positive that came out of the COVID-19. It's the fact that we became a little bit more aware of how each other is feeling and just a little bit more open to different answers besides good.
It's funny, I read an article not too long ago about people in Europe, and one of the things they had a hard time adjusting when they came to America was that everybody smiled at them in a very fake manner, that they weren't often just being themselves. I think that some of all this is that accommodations have become normal and accepted.
Well, accommodations happen all kinds of different ways, right? It's not just, having a handicap ramp or a handicap bathroom stall. The most common of which that we see are time accommodations. Now,
Right.
for you as an employer, it doesn't make any difference if that person is, showing up 30 minutes too late for work because they have to drop their kid off at school, or if it's because they have to go to a doctor's appointment. The more accommodations that you make, the better the workplace becomes for everybody, whether they have a disability or not.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.